one thing I'm constantly amazed at is how bad the job market actually is. So I have a statistics right here that shows that there's about 12.5 million job seekers. Now, take it with a grain of salt. I couldn't get the real numbers. And there's about 8 million job openings, right? And from my previous videos, you guys know that there's about 1 point or almost 2 million ghost listings, right? So that means that each job, now listen to this, there's 6 million open job listings and there's 12 million people seeking a job. And so now you're like, well, some of them already have a job. Yeah, they do, but they might be underpaid. They might be doing way too money. They're doing way too much for their pay grade, and they want to get, they want to, you know, get a better position, or they're in a contracting role that's not, that doesn't pay that well, and they want to do full time. And those are all valid, concerns, right? If you're in a contractor position and you try to, get a full time position, you need to apply, and you're kind of looking for a job, right? So one thing that's really, really interesting to me is that when you look at all these job listings, right, you look at all of them, they get hundreds of applicants. So I personally think that there's way, way, way more job applicants or that are looking than 12.5 million. Because it used to be, a year or two ago that you got laid off or something happened, and almost in a week or two, you got a contractor gig, you get something to hold you over, you call a staffing agency and they basically, with your skills, we're going to put you in this company and you're good to go. And your network used to help you out. And what I noticed was 2 years ago, a LinkedIn account that I know of, not saying the name, but got messages from recruiters weekly. Hey, I got this job opening for you. How about you apply? This be a great fit for you. And since about 6 months, haven't gotten any of them. Not even one. No recruiters are looking. They get overwhelmed by so many applicants. And I've spoken to recruiters from the Bay Area, and just for intern positions, they get 2,000 applicants for one intern position. 2,000 applicants from across the US. So, but it's for, software engineering, right? So now I'm looking at it like, man, this economy turned so bad in such low time. And people are like, well, it's not too bad. The stock market's still up. The stock market is not the economy, because all these companies are laying off, making bigger profits, jacking up prices. And that's all well and nice till people have no more money. And what do I mean by that is that right now, when you got laid off, all these Meta and these Microsoft companies and Tesla, some of them got real big severance packages. So what's a severance package? A severance package is when they pay you, Allison was one of them, they pay you a few months worth of your salary just so you don't, so you kind of waive your rights to sue them, but they kind of give you 3, 4, 5, 6, even a year, depending on how long you were there and, position you held. They might give you a year worth of salary so you don't sue them. So now I looked at, okay, how do we measure the ripple effect of that, right? So I looked at how many people are traveling right now or are going to come up, this season, right? How many people are going to travel during summertime? And I feel like, if you don't have the money and your credit card's maxed out, you're not going to travel, right? So I found a report that said that 40% of Americans are going to go into debt and put it on a credit card to go travel during summertime. So that means that 40% of Americans cannot afford to go places, but they're still going to do it. So now that means that 40% do not have the money to go do these type of things, right? But they're still on severance, they can still, go and kind of pay it off down the road because you still have some sort of money coming in, or they give you a big lump sum, right? So now you're thinking about going on vacation and you have 6 months worth of severance. So as most Americans, or at least me, I'd be a procrastinator, right? So you're like, let me job search let me take a 2-month break and then let me job search in 2 months after that, because I have 6 months. It's going to give me 4 months. So month 2 rolls around and you're like, I haven't started yet. So I give it another 1 or 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, you're halfway through your severance and you haven't applied to anything yet. Then you're like, oh shit, my money's running out. Let me start doing that. So then you're starting to think, oh, I can extend it by getting unemployment. But you got severance, so you don't qualify for unemployment. So you got to wait till the 6 months run up till you can actually apply for unemployment, right? So now you're struggling. And right now, what I've seen, you need about 6 to 9 months to apply to get a good job. You need a long time. Let me know in the comments what you think, how long it takes you to find another job. If you're in the tech field and get another tech job, I wonder how long it takes you. I know some people probably, if you have highly specialized skill, it's not going to take you that long. But when you're a project manager or something else, or, program manager or product, something like it, let me know. And even if you're a software developer or something like it, let me know, because I'm curiously interested what are you guys seeing? Because this is just what I'm seeing. So back to the journey, right? So you're searching, and then you're going to get job search depression. Because before, if you have been in the job search world, before that, you had opportunities, you had leverage, you had your network, and you had a bunch of things going for you. And it was kind of on the easier side for you to get a job. But now it's harder because, it's 2024, interest rates are high, companies are doing layoffs, and they're finding stuff now to just lay you off. So they're actively searching for you to be late, for you to be on the mouse, have a mouse jiggler, so they lay you off and not even worry about, consequences. They're just trying to cut headcount, increase profitability, and be done with it. So one catch though, and this is a longer down the road type of deal. If you lay a bunch of American people off, and a lot of companies have headquarters here and require Americans to buy their services, like Microsoft needs you to buy, cloud storage, or needs you to buy, the office, needs you to buy, computers and whatnot. And all of a sudden, you might think that, hey, if we're going to let all these people go, they might not buy our products anymore. And so if you're in a bank, you obviously still need a bank. But if you're doing something else, like software as a service or something like it, you might have a hard time selling that service afterwards. And if everybody's styling back, then how are you going to sell your product to a bunch of people, because they're not making any money? And I tell you one thing, people aren't going to spend money on digital tools just because, they're on sale right now, because they can't even put food on the table, right? So now you have these companies that say, hey, they make computers, iPhones and all that kind of stuff. But once there's enough layoffs and all this kind of stuff happens, do you really, really think you need the newest iPhone? Don't you think that your phone that you already got is good enough? Because there's not that much of a difference. So now you're starting to pull back, you're spending, and that's going to cause even a bigger ripple effect, because then companies really need to let go because the profits are dwindling. So now they're in the cycle of, oh, Americans aren't spending money, we need to let more people go. So now you're in this constant cycle of letting more and more people go because there's less and less circulation of your product and there's less people buying it, right? Kind of makes sense. Let me know if you agree or not. And when you let, like Microsoft did, 1,500 people go for the Seattle area or wherever I think they were like global or something, that hurts. That really, really hurts. And these are probably not small people. And I also see that if they're letting all these people go, these full-time employees go, how many employees got let go that were, contractor, that had a contractor position, that were at a staffing agency, and they're just hanging out at the house now and can't afford it. So I'm super curious to see these numbers, but I wouldn't even know how to go about it unless you guys tell me in the comments. And I had some really good conversations with you guys, and they actually say, some of them say, hey, I've been out of a job for 6 months. I've been applying for 200 jobs a week, and I'm getting nothing. I'm getting no responses. So, yeah, it's a crazy world out there. Companies have now the pick of the litter. They can just pick whoever they want to. They can say, we want these and these job requirements and we're going to pay this much. And in my other video, I showed you actually the chart that salaries have been dropping by 15% for tech workers, right, in the Bay Area. So now you do your title, you were a senior director. Now you might only get a director job, but that's only going to be paying as one level below that. So now you're like, oh shit, I took a title decrease and I took a 15% pay cut. So actually I took 3 steps back. And this is the economy that we're operating in. And it needs to stop. We need to lower the federal interest rates, and then like, oh, inflation hasn't gone up in a single bit. Yeah, it's going to come down hard. Because if you're going to decrease salaries some more and all that kind of other stuff, companies are going to go bankrupt. Companies are going to go belly up. People, and I made a video about that the other day, how companies are gonna have issues when the federal interest rate's going to keep rising or stays like that, with corporate real estate, offices, and all that. And the kicker is, the biggest kicker that I think is that these layoffs and all this kind of COVID and all this other stuff is only for the middle class. If you're in the top 1%, this stuff doesn't affect you. You probably still think the economy's great. That's when you see Jamie Dimon and these other vice presidents talking about how great their company's doing and how great they're doing and how great the economy is. Yeah, it's because all your friends have private jets, they fly around, they go on ski trips paid by the company, doing all that. And somebody actually in my comment section said that hey, I was a bookkeeper for a company that was quite big, and they constantly went on vacation, used private jets, and that's how they hit, that's how they went on vacation with the company dime. So they kicked that in as a bonus. And I'm asking you, how many times have you guys been on vacation with the company's dime? Probably never. So yeah, it's brutal out there. Let me know if you're job searching, what you're doing about it, because it is not good. And I'm just shaking my head, looking around, making these YouTube videos and saying, hey, this is gonna be bad for everybody. And I'm hoping, after the election, something's going to happen. But interest rates need to come down, and they need to start doing it quicker than they did. They need to go down quicker rather than not, right? So let me know what you guys think about all this. And I got my new camera today, so this is the last video with the old camera. And let me know if you guys see any audio changes. I'll see you in the next one.